In a galaxy far from Earth, a powerful alien empire was growing. They controlled many planets, ruling over countless species. The aliens, known as the Zephyrins, were tall and blue-skinned with large, glowing eyes. They saw themselves as superior and rarely paid attention to the small blue planet called Earth. To them, humans were just a curious little species, weak and unimportant. One day, a group of Zephyrin scouts was sent out to explore new territories. Their mission was simple: find planets suitable for conquest. As they traveled through the galaxy, one scout named Zell looked at a small blue dot on his monitor. "What is that?" he wondered. His fellow scouts laughed at him. "It's just a backwater planet? Who cares about humans?" they said. But Zell felt a strange pull toward it. Despite the mockery, Zell decided to investigate this planet. He piloted his ship, the Vortex Star, closer to Earth. As he entered the atmosphere, he was amazed by the beauty of the planet below. The blue ocean sparkled like diamonds, and green forests stretched across the land. This place is different, Zell thought. He could not help but feel a sense of wonder. The Zephyrins landed in a remote area, hidden away from human eyes. They exited their ship, scanning their surroundings. The air was fresh and filled with the sounds of chirping birds. "Look at this primitive world!" one scout sneered. "What a waste of time!" But Zell was captivated. He took a moment to observe the simple beauty of the land. As the scouts explored, they stumbled upon an ancient ruin covered in vines. Zell approached the structure, sensing something powerful within. He touched the stones, and a wave of energy coursed through him. "What is this place?" he wondered aloud. Suddenly, he heard a voice whispering from the ruins, telling tales of ancient humans who had faced great odds and emerged victorious. They spoke of a time when luck played a crucial role in their survival. Meanwhile, back on Earth, a young girl named Mia was listening to her grandmother's stories. Every night, her grandmother shared tales of bravery, hope, and luck. "Remember, dear," she would say, "there are times when luck is all you have." Mia loved these stories and often imagined herself as a hero, saving the day. Unbeknownst to Mia, her world was about to change. The tales her grandmother told had a way of spreading. People shared these stories in schools, parks, and homes, planting seeds of hope. "Maybe we will need that luck soon," they whispered, feeling a strange sense of foreboding. Back in the ruins, Zell continued to explore. The whispers grew louder, and he learned about the strength of the human spirit. He was amazed at how these small beings had managed to survive despite facing impossible odds. As he listened, a new feeling stirred within him, respect for this species he had always dismissed. Suddenly, an alarm blared on his ship. "We must leave now," one scout shouted. Zell hesitated. He felt a connection to Earth and its people. What if we could learn from them? He thought. But his fellow scouts dragged him away. They had a mission to complete, and Earth was not part of it. As they boarded the Vortex Star, Zell stole one last look at the blue planet. He couldn't shake the feeling that Earth held secrets that could change everything. The scouts took off into the sky, leaving behind a world that had just begun to realize its own power. Back on Earth, people continued to share stories of luck, hope, and resilience. Little did they know that their tales were about to face a true test. The Zephyrins had marked Earth for conquest, and the heroes of tomorrow were still just waking up to their destiny. Zell's discovery would soon unleash a storm that would change the fate of humanity forever. As the stars twinkled above, both the humans and the Zephyrins were unaware of the battle that was about to unfold. A battle not just for survival, but for the very essence of what it meant to be human. The sun rose over Earth, casting warm light on the cities and fields below. People went about their daily lives, unaware of the danger that loomed above. In the Zephyrin Empire, the decision to invade Earth had been made. High-ranking officers gathered in a dark room, planning the attack. "These humans are weak and divided," the commander declared. "We will take their planet easily." Back on Earth, Mia was getting ready for school. She sat at the breakfast table, listening to her grandmother tell another story about luck. "Remember, Mia," her grandmother said with a serious look, "sometimes luck is what saves us in the darkest times." Mia smiled, but a sense of unease crept into her heart. At school, the day was like any other. Friends laughed in the hallways, teachers taught their lessons, and children played outside. But in the skies above, the Zephyrin ships descended, casting dark shadows over the land. The first signs of danger were small, a flicker of light, a distant rumble, but they grew louder and closer, filling the air with tension. In the bustling city of New York, people looked up, confused by the dark shapes blocking the sun. Suddenly, the silence shattered as the Zephyrin ships unleashed their attack. Bright beams of light shot down, striking buildings and causing explosions. Panic erupted. People screamed, running in every direction. Cars crashed as drivers tried to escape. In her classroom, Mia felt the tremors of the ground. Her teacher rushed to the window, eyes wide with fear. "Everyone stay calm!" she shouted, but it was too late. The sound of destruction roared outside. Mia's heart raced as she clutched her desk, praying for safety. Outside, the streets were chaos. The alien ships hovered like dark clouds, firing beams that disintegrated everything in their path. Buildings crumbled and fires blazed, sending smoke billowing into the sky. The once bustling city was now a scene of devastation. Meanwhile, in a nearby military base, soldiers received the news. "We are under attack! Prepare for battle!" shouted the commander. Soldiers scrambled to their vehicles, adrenaline pumping. They had trained for years for moments like this, but nothing could prepare them for the sheer terror of an alien invasion. Among the chaos, a group of civilians banded together, determined to help. They included Mia's father, a former soldier, who had always taught her the importance of courage. "We can't just run away," he yelled. "We need to fight back!" The group agreed and quickly gathered weapons and supplies. Back in the sky, Zell watched in horror as the destruction unfolded. He had joined the invasion, believing it would be an easy mission, but now he saw the fear in the humans' eyes and felt a strange feeling in his chest. "What are we doing?" he thought. The whispers from the ruins echoed in his mind, reminding him of the stories of human bravery. As the invasion continued, the humans fought back with everything they had. They fired rockets and aimed their weapons at the alien ships. Some managed to hit the Zephyrins, causing sparks to fly. But the aliens were strong and relentless. In the heart of the city, Mia and her father took cover in a subway station with other frightened people. "Stay close, Mia," her father urged, scanning the area for any signs of danger. "We'll get through this together." Meanwhile, the Zephyrin commander issued new orders. "Push forward! Show no mercy!" The ships moved closer and the attacks intensified. Buildings collapsed under the weight of the blasts, and the sky turned dark with smoke. As chaos reigned, the humans began to unite. Neighbors helped each other, sharing resources and information. They quickly realized they could not let fear control them. They had to fight for their homes, their families, and their future. Just when it seemed all hope was lost, a faint glimmer appeared in the sky. A human aircraft, modified and ready for battle, soared into the air. Pilots, who had not given up hope, were determined to protect their planet. "For Earth!" they shouted as they engaged the alien ships. Mia watched from the subway station, her heart pounding. She remembered her grandmother's words about luck. "We need all the luck we can get," she thought. The battle for Earth had begun, and it was only the beginning. The humans would need courage, unity, and a bit of luck to survive the fight against the Zephyrin invaders. After the brutal attack, Earth was in chaos. Many cities lay in ruins, and fear spread like wildfire. The people of Earth were scared, but they refused to give up. In the midst of this chaos, Mia and her father, along with their small group of survivors, gathered to discuss their next steps. "Where do we go from here?" One member of the group asked, worry etched on his face. "The aliens are too strong. We need a miracle to fight back." Mia's father looked around the room, seeing the fear in everyone's eyes. "We need to find a way to turn the tide. We need luck on our side." Suddenly, Mia spoke up. "My grandmother always told me stories about lucky objects hidden in old places. Maybe if we find one of those, it can help us." The group listened closely. "What kind of lucky objects?" her father asked. She mentioned ancient artifacts that humans believed could bring good fortune. Mia replied. Determined, the group decided to search for these artifacts. They believed that if they could find something special, it might give them the hope and strength they needed. With little time to waste, they gathered supplies and set off to find the nearest hidden location mentioned in Mia's grandmother's stories. The first stop was an ancient forest located a few hours away from their city. This forest was known for its thick trees and mysterious legends. People said that a long time ago, a wise human had hidden an artifact deep within the woods. As they entered the forest, the air felt different, cool and filled with whispers from the trees. The group walked carefully, keeping an eye out for any signs of the artifact. The sound of branches cracking underfoot echoed in the stillness. Mia's father led the way, his senses sharp. "Stay close, everyone," he warned. "We don't know what else might be out here." Suddenly, they heard a rustling noise nearby. Everyone froze, hearts racing. Mia's father gripped a makeshift weapon, ready for anything. "What was that?" someone whispered. They held their breath, but after a few tense moments, a small deer stepped out from behind a tree. The group relaxed, letting out a collective sigh of relief. "Let's keep moving," Mia said, determined. They wandered deeper into the woods, following a narrow path that twisted and turned. After what felt like hours, they stumbled upon a clearing with an old stone altar in the center. Vines wrapped around it and moss covered its surface. "This must be it!" Mia exclaimed, eyes wide with excitement. As they approached the altar, Mia noticed something sparkling beneath the vines. "Look," she pointed. The group gathered around, uncovering a small, shining object, a crystal shaped like a four-leaf clover. It radiated a warm light, and Mia could almost feel the energy pulsing from it. "This is it! This is the lucky charm," her father said, holding it up high. The group cheered, hope igniting within them. "Maybe this can help us," one person exclaimed, smiling for the first time since the attack. But their celebration was short-lived. The sound of engines roared overhead, and dark shadows loomed in the sky. The Zephyrin ships had found them. "We need to hide now!" Mia's father shouted. They quickly ducked behind trees and underbrush, hearts racing as the ships flew closer. The Zephyrins scanned the area, searching for any signs of resistance. Zell, who was among them, felt a strange pull to the forest. He couldn't shake the feeling that something important was happening. As he observed, he noticed a glimmer of light among the trees. The same light that had filled Mia with hope. "Commander, I see something!" Zell called out. The commander turned sharply, eyes narrowing. "What is it?" Exel pointed towards the clearing. "I believe there are humans there hiding. We must check it out." As the ships descended, the group of survivors held their breath, praying that their new-found luck would protect them. "We can't let them take the crystal," Mia whispered urgently. "It's our only chance." Her father nodded, determination in his eyes. The Zephyrins landed nearby, their heavy footsteps shaking the ground. The humans remained silent, hearts pounding in their chests. They knew they had to act quickly. As the aliens approached the altar, Mia and her group prepared for a fight. They would not let their luck disappear without a struggle. Just as the Zephyrins reached the crystal, a loud shout echoed through the forest. "For Earth!" Mia's father yelled, charging forward with others at his side. The time for hiding was over. It was time to fight for their luck, their home, and their future. The battle for Earth was about to take a new turn, and luck would be on their side. The forest was alive with tension as Mia and her group faced the Zephyrin invaders. The air crackled with anticipation, and the weight of the crystal pulsed in Mia's hand. "We have to protect it," she shouted, glancing at her father, who nodded fiercely. The Zephyrin commander, a tall figure with dark skin and sharp features, stepped forward. "Surrender now, humans, and you may live," he demanded. His voice was cold and filled with arrogance. But Mia's father stepped forward defiantly. "We will never surrender. This is our home!" With a quick movement, the commander signaled to his troops. The Zephyrins raised their weapons, ready to fire. Just then, Mia remembered the stories her grandmother told her about bravery and hope. She held the crystal high, and it began to glow brightly. "Everyone, focus on the crystal! It can give us strength!" The survivors gathered around, their fear transforming into courage. The light from the crystal brightened, filling the clearing with a warm glow. Mia felt a wave of energy wash over her. "We can do this together," she cried. As the Zephyrins opened fire, the humans took cover behind the trees. Mia's father led the charge, rallying the group. "Now, we fight for our lives!" He raised his makeshift weapon and charged at the aliens. The humans followed, hearts pounding with adrenaline. The battle erupted in chaos. Bright beams of light shot across the clearing, lighting up the dark forest. The humans fought bravely, using their knowledge of the land to their advantage. They climbed trees, dodged behind rocks, and worked together to outsmart the aliens. Zell, torn between loyalty to his people and a growing sense of doubt, found himself hesitating. He watched as the humans worked as a team, their determination strong. Why are they so willing to fight for a place that seems so weak, he wondered. In the thick of the battle, Mia's group managed to flank the Zephyrins. "Now's our chance!" her father shouted. They launched a surprise attack, catching the aliens off guard. The humans pushed forward, using whatever they could find as weapons. Rocks, branches, and anything sharp became tools of resistance. The commander realized the humans were not as weak as he had thought. "Fall back!" he ordered, but it was too late. The humans surged forward, driven by a fierce desire to protect their home. Mia felt the crystal glowing brighter in her hand. "We can channel its power!" she called out. The group formed a circle around her, focusing their energy on the crystal. Together they shouted their hopes and dreams, channeling their strength into the glowing artifact. The light grew, and a beam shot towards the sky, illuminating the dark forest. The Zephyrins were taken aback. "What is happening?" the commander shouted, fear creeping into his voice. The humans felt a surge of power, their confidence growing. They pushed forward, the light from the crystal guiding them. In a moment of clarity, Zell stepped forward. "We cannot keep fighting like this," he shouted, surprising his commander. "They fight for their home just as we do. Maybe we can find another way." His voice trembled with uncertainty, but it carried weight. The commander glared at him, but was momentarily distracted by the humans' advances. Mia noticed Zell's hesitation and called out to him. "We can work together! You don't have to follow orders that don't make sense." Her voice was strong, and the sincerity in her words rang true. With a glance at the humans, Zell saw the truth in their eyes. He stepped back, breaking away from the Zephyrin ranks. "Enough!" he shouted. The commander turned, furious. "You dare defy me?" "Yes, we can stop this," Zell replied. The humans looked at him in shock, but also with hope. "We can find peace. There is no need for more destruction," he continued, his voice steady. The commander hesitated, the tension thick in the air. For a moment, it seemed the battle could end. Mia held her breath, heart racing. "Please, let's end this together," she urged. Finally, the commander lowered his weapon, the anger fading from his face. "Very well," he said reluctantly. "Perhaps there is another way." The Zephyrin troops looked at each other, confused but willing to listen. As the fighting stopped, Mia felt the energy in the air shift. The light from the crystal continued to shine brightly, symbolizing hope and unity. Together, humans and Zephyrins stood in the clearing, ready to write a new chapter in their histories. In that moment, Mia realized that they had found what they were searching for all along, not just luck, but the power of unity and understanding. The final battle had transformed into a new beginning, one where they could all live together in peace. The clearing was quiet now. The sounds of battle had faded, leaving only the rustling of leaves and the chirping of birds. Mia stood among her group of survivors, the crystal still glowing brightly in her hand. The tension in the air felt different, filled with hope instead of fear. Zell stepped forward cautiously. "We can't go back to fighting. Too many lives have already been lost," he said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. The Zephyrin commander, still uncertain, looked at Mia's father for guidance. "We all want peace," Mia's father said, stepping into the open. "Let's talk. We have a chance to build something new together." His words resonated with the humans and the Zephyrins alike. The Zephyrin commander nodded slowly. "I agree. Our people have suffered as well. The endless cycle of war has led us to this moment. We must find a new way." He glanced at Zell, who gave him an encouraging nod. Mia felt a rush of relief wash over her. "If we work together, we can create a better future," she said. "We have a lot to learn from each other." The humans and Zephyrins gathered in a circle, the crystal at the center. With the glow of the crystal illuminating their faces, they began to share stories. Mia spoke of her grandmother's tales of courage and resilience, while Zell recounted stories of bravery from his own people. As they shared their experiences, the divide between them started to fade. The Zephyrins listened intently, their expressions softening. They realized that humans were not just creatures to be conquered, they were capable of great love and strength. Similarly, the humans began to see the Zephyrins as more than just enemies. They were beings with their own fears and hopes. Days turned into weeks, and Mia's group worked tirelessly to foster this newfound connection. They built a small camp where humans and Zephyrins could live together. They shared resources, knowledge, and culture. Slowly, trust began to grow. One day, while working in the camp, Mia and Zell walked together. "Do you think we can really change things?" Zell asked, glancing at the humans around them. "There is so much history between us." Mia smiled, her eyes shining with determination. Change takes time, but we are already on the right path. We've taken the first step. She glanced at the crystal, still shimmering with the energy of hope. Together we can do anything. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the camp, Mia and Zell watched as children from both sides played together. Laughter filled the air, and for the first time there was no fear, only joy. "We are creating something beautiful," Exel said, his voice filled with pride. "I never thought I would see this day." But not everyone was happy about the new alliance. A small group of Zephyrins, who believed in the old ways, plotted to disrupt the peace. They felt betrayed by their leaders and sought to reignite the conflict. One night, as darkness fell over the camp, they launched an attack. "We must show them they are weak," one of the rebels shouted, aiming at the tents filled with humans. Mia awoke to the chaos. "What's happening?" she gasped, grabbing the crystal. The light pulsed angrily, reflecting her fear. She rushed outside, seeing the Zephyrin rebels fighting against her friends. "Stop! We can't go back to war," she yelled, holding the crystal high. The glow caught everyone's attention. The rebels hesitated, confused by the sudden light. Zell joined Mia, standing beside her. "This is not the way! Look at what we've built together," he shouted, his voice strong. The rebels paused, their resolve faltering as they saw the unity in front of them. The children, the laughter, the shared meals, all of it was real. Mia stepped forward, heart pounding. "We can help each other! We don't have to fight!" The leader of the rebels hesitated, struggling with his anger. But as he looked into the faces of those around him, he began to understand. Maybe we can find another way," he said, lowering his weapon. Mia felt a wave of hope wash over her. "Yes! Together we can make this work!" With that, the light of the crystal shone brighter, and the darkness began to lift. The rebels lowered their weapons completely, realizing the truth in Mia's words. They had a choice, to continue the cycle of violence or to embrace the possibility of peace. In that moment, hope blossomed. The crystal pulsed with energy, symbolizing the new path ahead. Humans and Zephyrins stood together, united in a common purpose. They would build a future where understanding and cooperation triumphed over war and hatred. Mia smiled, looking around at her friends, new and old. The dawn of a new era had begun, and together they would create a world filled with promise and hope.